This game might be the single best Pokemon game that has ever been released. I mean, outside of Pokemon Trazi, of course. Welcome to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the defining games of Switch Pokemon gaming. From the open Asado Desert to the Glaciado mountain ranges, there's no shortage of adventures to be had within the three separate but intertwined storylines ongoing at any given moment. But honestly, I could gush all day about all of the things that I think the Pokemon franchise did right in their debut of the Paldean region. Instead, let's jump straight into our video today, the first Nuzlocke of Pokemon Violet. Now, this game is a bit quirky in terms of Nuzlocke, so let me explain our rule set. First, one encounter per route and permadeath rules were still in place, and we were still following our no items in battle rule. Two rules had to be modified in order to compromise with our game-making friends. First, set mode was no longer an option in the game, so we were going to have to pretend that that was a setting, and we were always going to have to decline to switch our Pokemon. Sure, maybe it was a chore, but it was a necessary evil after the creators removed the setting for seemingly no reason. The final rule, usually our encounters are able to be randomized, but we had to run into overworld encounters here, so I decided I'd allow myself to choose our one encounter per route on the promise that it would have to be a Generation 9 Pokemon. No old and reused Pokemon would be viable on this run. Attempt 1 of Pokemon Violet without ever having played Pokemon Scarlet. Let's begin. The run begins in Cabo Poco, where a dude who isn't the professor for the series would like to give us a free Pokemon. This time, the options are some of the most adorable I've ever seen. Green Cat, Fire Pepper, and Chad Duck. While the Green Cat was probably more my style, I opted to choose the Fire Pepper in hopes it would be the stronger offensive weapon in this run. We battled our rival Nemona, who is probably the most competitive and genuine rival since literally Generation 2, and squashed her newfound Sprigatito. After the battle, we were now eligible to encounter a new Pokemon on Poco Path. With Pawmi, Lechonk, and Eldegoss, the bug Pokemon, as options, I chose to pick up the new Pika clone. Every Pika clone up to this point had packed some punch. I was too curious to know what this one would be good at. And for maybe the first time ever, this scene at the very beginning is where the protagonist meets the legendary Pokemon of the generation. Not late game, not just before the Elite Four, literally first thing, introducing Miraidon. Miraidon is probably the cooler of the two legendary options. Maybe not the cuter, but definitely the sleeker, smoother counterpart that jetpacks around and actually uses its purple wheels. I was stoked to find this guy hungry on the beach where it seemed like he wanted to be friends. There was then this 5-minute experience where the legendary led me through this tunnel that had the same energy as the elephant graveyard in The Lion King. With Scar overwatching, Miraidon guided us through. I was a little confused, but I know that dark type is synonymous with evil in Japan, so maybe all dark hounds are just unwelcoming as such? Nevertheless, we cleared through the tunnel, which was technically a separate location but had no Generation 9 encounters in it, and we made our way to the lighthouse. Then we met a troubled man by the name of Arvin. Not only was he rude to us up front, he also belittled our new sandwich-enjoying friend and challenged us to a battle. I don't know much about this Arvin character, but he's instantly been put on my After smoking his Squovit with an ember, Arvin gave us official jurisdiction over the well-being of the Purple Dragon. Just beyond Poco Path was South Province Area 1. This route had a few opportunities for Paldean pickups, including Fido, Shroodle, and a few other fresh faces that I'd never experienced in battle before. I decided, with the help of chat of course, that the choice was going to be Paldean Wooper. Even this early, I was daydreaming about the potential Paldean Quagsire that was going to be so special for this run. Insert Twitch plug. Insert secondary YouTube plug where I ask you to subscribe because it's free and it helps me out a lot. Headed for the next city, I was confronted by Nemona, who wanted to tear me to shreds before we got to the schoolhouse. We opened with Whoop God to counter her Sprigatito. Unfortunately, we were flinched and I wasn't super interested in rolling the dice on whether or not we'd ever be able to attack again. Fuecoco with Ember beat her starter and the final Pawmi came out. I tossed Whoop Legend back into the flames, hoping the ground typing here would be strong enough to stand up to the electric foe. Mudshot finished the mouse and the battle was finished. We were just too strong and too powerful with this 3-mon core. Guys, I know that this city here is gorgeous and the whole school thing's cool, but I can't pretend that anything worth watching happens here, so I'll sum it up in 2 sentences. We met Team Star and experienced a school scene with a lower frame rate than the original Donkey Kong games. I mean, look at these kicks. Okay, I got one more sentence because look at Shady Penguin, man. So inspirational. We stepped through the western gate to begin our journey and had to make a decision on our newest encounter. I think our options were literally the dark type dog, the fairy type Dog and Smoliv, and I didn't know anything about Smoliv, which I thought made it the most fun pickup. I don't really understand why this is a normal grass type, but maybe the ghost immunity would be viable later. I also snagged a Fido from Victory Road. Fairy types were always helpful, and I was excited to see what the dogified pastry brought to the table. Off to the gym with our team of 5, I participated in the Olive Bowl, or whatever it's called. This was easily the most fun gym puzzle of the entire series. I'm pushing GC in this category of Rocket League, right next to Snow Day. I actually headed up the mountain a bit to a new route for a new encounter. I picked up Mankey here, who I know isn't Generation 9 technically, but I do know that it got a sweet new evolution, and I wanted to try it out, so I figured we could let this count. Back in Cortando with the team up to level, I entered the gym fight. Knowing the bug-type gym was in hand, I opened with Crocolore. Nimble collapsed, and Tarantula followed to a terastallized Crocolore's Incinerate, and now the theme begins. This region was going to be jam-packed with gym leaders including seemingly random Pokemon picking up funny terastallization types to match their gym themes. Of course, bug-type Teddiursa wasn't exactly terrifying. I could see trying a fighting move and finding out that it was resisted being spooky, but I saw this one coming from a mile away. Teddy was conquered, and badge number 1 was ours. Next stop, Mesagoza. There were a few encounters to choose from on these routes. We settled on Naklee and waited on the second. Titan Cloth was our upcoming opponent. I opened with Wooper and pivoted once Rock Smash dropped our defense. Unfortunately, Mankey was blocked into the fight as soon as we sent our friend in. With Cloth nearly conquered, it retreated back to its den or whatever. I'm not super sure what the difference is between the Krusty Krab we just fought and the second iteration, but I figured Mankey might be a great opener this time around, knowing how much damage he just did. Rock Tomb did a bunch to our Mankey, but our teammate used Leer and Low Kick was set to knock the crab out. All we had to do was eat one.
Oh, I think I stay in. This is so regrettable. Doesn't kill me, right? Dude, it crit.
Wooper was able to step in and finish the crab with Mud Shot. Devastated that I'd never have Annihilate, we pressed forward. Arvin was weirdly upset that our motorcycle ate our sandwich and seemed to be hiding something else when we left. But the good news was that our motorcycle could now run. We caught a Squawkabilly and did a little Sunflora gym puzzle. I'll admit, during the puzzle, I was a little bummed to discover that Squawkabilly was a normal Terra type, meaning we couldn't boost our flying moves with it. Still, I believed in our ability to conquer Brassius with reasonable ease. Aerial Ace was enough to bury Petalil, as well as the Smoliv that came in next. Sudowoodo came in as the final Pokemon, and I was a little worried about it. The bulky boy Pseudo was going to terastallize into a grass typing, and Squawkabilly's signature high offense was looking like a 3-shot. I tried turning our liability into a strength here, expecting a rock move. I terastallized into that pure normal type, except it didn't happen. Because the AI wanted speed control, Pseudo opted to Trailblaze, doing significantly more damage after the Terra type than it originally would have. Knowing my options were limited, I opted to Aerial Ace a second time as well.
I'm way faster.
Okay.
I'm not killing this with a quick attack. So the question is, am I faster than a 2x speed Sudowoodo?
It's possible quick attack would knock Pseudo out from here, but I thought that was too risky. I swapped to Smoliv, who called a Trailblaze breakfast before I pivoted to Wooper on Rock Throw. Wooper just needed to eat one Trailblaze and fire off a Poison Tail.
Let's see it work, boys. Come on. Cross your fingers. Cross your fingers. Please survive one. Just survive one. That's all you have to do is eat one. Eat one. Nice job, Loop God. Now land this. That didn't kill? That didn't kill?
Back through Smoliv, I asked Pommy to eat a Rock Throw before finishing the over-sturdy Twig with Quick Attack. The battle was won deathless. In hindsight, that Sudowoodo is really tough. Pommy evolved, so naturally I took Pommo to Los Platos, ran him around the walkway oval 3 times, and leveled the Pommo into its final evolution, Palma. Around this point in the game, I was informed that I absolutely needed to get a Charcadet on my team. I wasn't sure what for, but I was told to save a route because the little guy is technically a 1% encounter everywhere. Yeah, in hindsight, I'm not sure if I buy that, but I skipped the route after Artizone anyways. We found a Wattrel on the beach before Levincia and a Tadbulb on the other side. I then spent way too much time auto battling, trying to gain some free experience before heading into the next gym leader. While training Wattrel up, I ran into a Deerling and opted to pluck it.
In the closing then, but not there yet.
What? Good thing I didn't need it. I evolved Tadbulb into Bellybolt, so at least I still had a functional electric type left on the roster, and headed towards gym number 3. There, the best rival in the history of the Pokemon series was waiting to try and pummel me. She failed, miserably, of course. Iono's challenge was in the spotlight now, and by in the spotlight, I mean being aired live on Twitch. I think this was Nintendo making fun of content creators, more specifically Pokemon streamers, and even more specifically the guy on your screen. That's hilarious. She's hilarious, and you know what? She seems like she's doing well, even in her green Kyle Kuzma-esque sweater. The puzzle here was Where's Waldo, and there were battles in between pages. It was fine, but the battles weren't exactly real thrillers. Finally pitted up against the gym leader, she opened with a watch roll that I will never ever have. Crocolore yawned and pivoted to our ground type teammate on the next spark. A free switch into a free sleep immediately felt great. Clodsire whacked the opponent with Poison Jab twice as Bellybolt walked in. It was here that I realized my Clodsire was Poison Point instead of Water Absorb, which was of course epic. In order to counter my apparent water weakness, I terrestrialized, an apparent mistake as I had not accounted for the fact that the only thing stopping Bellybolt from using its physical electric move in this instance was my ground typing. Fortunately, Belly here is a putrid physical attacker, and Rest was able to stall out the Belly as it fainted to poison. As Luxio walked in, I opted to try and sleep it with Yawn. I win. Yawn?
Oh, that does a lot. Come on! Why?
Everything was fine. I just needed Rest to get back in.
Don't you dare be paralyzed. Oh, come on!
As this battle was going exactly according to plan, I had to get a new friend in here. Bellybolt with Mudshot hopped in to finish Luxio while taking minimal damage. With only Mismagius left, I tried and failed to set up a light screen after Mismagius confused our electric sack. Fortunately, Slack off the next turn kept us in the fight, and a light screen set up the next turn to give us a real opportunity. The thing about this Mismagius is that it's wildly hard to kill. With a super high early game base stat total, an electric terrestrialization type, and levitate, Mismatch has incredible bulk and no weaknesses. Crocolore swapped in to fire off a Snarl and drop the opponent's special attack, then yawned to sleep it. Now, I'll spare you the details of a long and tedious fight, but Bellybolt with Light Screen and Slack Off was able to stall this ghost out of hexes and knock it off with Water Gun, which was incredibly awkward.
Belly, please. Okay, I just need to hit 2 more times, just 2 more times. Snapped out of confusion. Okay, we get this one. Okay. All right, I just need to hit 1 more, please. Please hit through this, Bellybolt. Come on. I know it's confusing. Please. Yes. Okay, Deathless Mismatch. Easy fight, boys. Woo! Badge in hand, I gave up on the whole Charcadet thing and grabbed the Tauros from the route after Artizone. The Fighting Bull was just too valuable here. To the top of a giant mountain, we located a disgruntled Bombardier with the craziest looking neck flap. Bellybolt rolled this dark bird pretty comfortably. I mean, the first and second fights were super quick. And now we discovered some of the real makings of this Arven character. I can't remember a time they gave us an in-game character with so many dimensions, but the storyline of Arven trying to heal his dog and the erratic and passionate nature of our rival and friend, I think, is really cool. I mean, our character asking him if he's tried the universal healthcare system like he has no brain cells is hilarious and maybe a little poorly written, but I digress. I grabbed a Wiglet. Now, this game is largely not linear. This game truly allows you to roam wherever the heck you want. It's possible to battle gyms, star bases, and titans out of order for the most part. I'm not exactly sure why there's a wall gating up the Water City's access, effectively demanding I do the Darkstar base first. I was cool with it, but it was the one true place roadblocked in this game, and I'm curious. We met Clive there, who's one of the more hilarious characters in the game and appears to be trying way too hard. Cassiopeia, a terrible way to pronounce that name, had some stuff to say as well, and let me tell you, this soundtrack of hers is heater. The dark base isn't really much to talk about. While a fun and cute little puzzle, they really could have done more with the auto battle mechanics to make this less restrictive and clunky. We made it to the big man at the end, no problem, and squared up to fight his party bus? Schmidt from New Girl would love this thing. The Sagan Starmobile was a bit goofy. I still don't understand the mechanics. Eventually, we shut down the party early by playing a little too rough, and Giacomo conceded defeat. There was a story. Penny showed up, which was weird. Her EV pack was nice, but she couldn't handle the Team Star Grunts back in the city, and I felt like it was bad for her to be out here. Before collecting our next badge, I stopped back in the area of Zapapico to tackle our next Titan. Orthwam would, after defeating him, give us the ability to jump higher. It wasn't super important, but it was certainly nice. And this is where our fighting type Tauros encounter would assert its importance with some Terra boosted kicks. Pow, boom, dead worm. Once more, we hung out with Arvin and his dog and learned about this character. Mabo Stiff barked or something. Back in Cascarafa, we attempted to take the gym challenge and were encouraged to search for the boss man and give him his forgotten wallet. I found the guy on accident hanging outside a little seaside town. Turns out my man was trying to buy some stuff, and leaving his wallet around was kind of a silly mistake. Anyways, Mr. Bossman, the water guy, gave us $50,000 to go to an auction with. Unfortunately, this currency was only good in the Pokemon world and about as valuable as the Monopoly money I pay my editor with. I bought some seaweed and won the challenge. Go me. I prepared for the gym, bringing all my Pokemon up to level. It was time. Kofu entered with a Veluza, and I sent out a Palmot to counter. This matchup wasn't super ideal as the opponent harbored a psychic typing that was tough for our little fighter. Still, I gambled and ate an attack anyways. T-Fang finished the job, and I sent in our grass type to execute the Wug Trio. God, that sounds aggressive. Seed Bomb did the job, and the final Crabomobile came into Tango. I growled with our Doxman to minimize a little bit of damage output and swapped into our Sparking Bellabolt. Being faster, I was now in a great spot to slack off until I was comfortable attacking again. Sure, I was risking a little crit action, but I don't think I was dead to anything, right? I needed to truly risk a death to fire off an attack though, so I rolled the dice.
To the spark. Please don't crit me. Please don't crit me. Yes! Low roll, high roll. Take that, Crabomobile.
Our rival stopped in to say hello after our victory, but decided not to attack us. Over near Levincia, we found a Firestar base that I was pretty confident we could take on now. Tearing through the base, we took to the Fire-type leader with our strong squad. Question, why does Wug Trio only get one hat when it's terastallized? It looks elitist, goofy, and bad. Also, Wug Trio was an awful counter to Torkoal in hindsight, who Bellybolt had to finish before we could take on the Revovroom. With a little damage done to the Starmobile, I finally remembered that I had a fire immunity in Doxman on the team. With a bunch of licks and pivots through Tauros to reset the Screeching defense drops, I've also realized that the big Screeching plan was to use Swift on our dog, which wasn't a physical move, so I literally was fine the whole time installing for no reason. Easy fight behind us, boys. I spammed through the story and moved on. Bye, Mela. I finally grabbed my Asado Desert encounter, by the way. Tinka-Tink joined up, and we were ready to take advantage of the single best type combo to have in the game. We also snagged a Citadel just beyond Medalli and desperately awaited the day that we could burn an Ice Stone evolving our guy. And finally, a Greavar joined the team at a super great time. We now had a Ghost type to deal with the normal type foes upcoming. Now, a very important thing happened here. With our swimming powers, I was able to scoot my way around the entire map to the backside of the snowy mountain. Why is this important? Because the most efficient early game grinding method can be done only in this little location. Using the classic ham sandwich, of course, we were able to invite out only Chanseys from that route, which functioned as experience inflated balloons with no defense in this game. Without anything but a normal move, they had no way of countering any Pokemon within 10 levels of them that resisted their attacks and had a physical move. So Greavard went hard here, and Tauros, 10 levels under, was strong enough to OHKO most of these pink balloons with double kick. Up to level and back in Medalli, I absolutely cheated the recipe from chat and got to skip all of the trainers to save myself the danger of over leveling. Thanks, chat. Larry, the gym leader, was on the clock, but I wasn't about to rip my pants in front of Big Larry. Brick Break broke the opening Kamala, and the suckiest new evolution managed to fire off a drill run before succumbing to the second Brick Break. Only Staraptor was left, though the hyper-offensive bird opened with an Intimidate and made everything terrible for our Palmot. I sent in Knuckle Stack and used a strategy I wasn't sure would work, but I had to try. You see, I had no idea what moves were on this Staraptor, and I know these dudes usually pack a little close combat action. I begged on the bird not having it anyways and shot for the Iron Defense into the Recover strat. Eventually, I started whittling down the bird's HP with Salt Cure, and the battle began swinging in our favor. Fast forward about 5 minutes with Staraptor cornered, Knuckle Stack, best name in the new game by the way, buried our opponent with Rock Slide. Larry the Lobster? More like Larry the Loser. Right outside this gym essentially functions as a back-to-back, as you get healed in the middle and have to take on Nemona immediately. Of course, with my squad, this was a guaranteed victory. Palmot did sweep 1, 2, and 3 Pokemon before having to switch out on Meowscarada. And let's see how much damage this does. Woo! Ow! Fortunately, Big Croc wasn't scared of this thing at all. Terrestrialized Torch Song overwhelmed the grass cat easily. Grafaiai joined the team, who I didn't expect to do much, but the catch location was the same place that the poison type team star base was, so we took them on. Again, I'll spare you guys the fun little run and auto battle scene, and we can skip right to the meat and potatoes. Atticus was head honcho around these parts. They had a cool vibe and poison type Pokemon. I had assembled a pretty cool crew of poison resistant Pokemon, so I felt like I was in a good spot. Clodsire opened for us and ate a Sucker Punch before hitting a Mega Horn. Because Sucker Punch only works if we're attacking, I wanted to try sleeping the skunk with Yawn. It worked. I switched into Bellibolt and Mudshot proved too strong. Funnily enough, Atticus had a second Revavroom that melted to 1 Mudshot, though the ensuing muck flinched our Bellibolt as we attempted to recover, so we had to switch out. Fortunately, Rest Houndstone was a gross counter to this opponent. The final Revavroom, however, was daunting. Packing Spin Out and Flame Charge, I wasn't exactly sure what to make of the situation. Did you know that Yawn doesn't work here? Epic. Clodsire chipped our opponent before swapping into Skeledirge, who probably had the best chance at countering the monster. After a couple Torch Songs, the battle was won and a third team star member was behind us. Now, the 6th gym leader here was Rhyme, who was a pretty tough battle in the snow. I did read the description of the gym before going in though, so I was aware it was a double battle, but usually these things can get pretty demon. While I was pretty methodical with my plays and pivots, I was actually able to comfortably eliminate 3 of her 4 Pokemon. Mimikyu was the only one who gave me even a second of trouble. That's fine. Does that mean that Energy Ball is just going to hit right through the disguise? I want to know. Let's find out. Oh, I didn't hit it. I hit the other one. That's fine. Does she have a 4th Pokemon? Toxicity. Interesting. Oh, that's kind of yucky for me. Wait, what the heck is this? Toxicity is a poison electric type, but this one appears to be ghost. I'm guessing this is a poison move here. I'm going to go stonk here. And on the ghost move, I'll probably switch back to... All right, I'm going back to my dude here. Grief, go get him. Yeah, take that, dummy. How you like them apples? Really? Uh-huh. Bro knocked out his own Pokemon. This guy's, please hit this. Don't make me. Don't do this to me. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, time for Gigaton Giganta Hammer. Go. Woo! Right, Omni Boost. All right. Thank everything for Giga Chad Dynahammer. At the mountain summit, we snagged the Frigibacks and prepared for the upcoming gym. Before attempting to get the next badge, Nemona did challenge us to a quick little showdown, but the battle was super reasonable and the big croc thumped her cat once more. Can I just say that even though this gym is supposed to be the final gym and I didn't know that at this point, it is fun that this battle takes place and feels reasonable even when you're 6 badges in. I don't know if Nemona shows up at the other gym if you try taking on that one first, but it felt like a fair fight. Guys, look, it's Mario Kart, but in Pokemon. So yeah, I was doing the gym out of order without knowing. It was too late for me. I was scrambling and 2 things became clear here. First, this fight was going to be hell. Second, my options for Pokemon to use to get through the next gym after this one, should I get through this one, was going to be super scuffed as I overleveled most of this team trying to get out of this fight. Grusha opened with Frostmoth and we opened with Torch Song. Truly an unfair matchup. We one-shot the pesky moth. Of course, I needed another kill before switching out, so I opted to eat whatever Beartick used this time around. Recognize Earthquake, we're fine. We eat one, we eat one, we eat one, we eat one. Thank you. And we get the kill. With the Titan now on the floor, I asked Tinkaton to land a Giga Chad Dynahammer, which Tink obviously crit. Only Altaria remained, probably one of the more favorable aces in this game. I just couldn't let it set up. Garganackle was just too powerful for this Ice Bird. Salt Cure and Recover was an impenetrable wall, and the dumb bird collapsed. Thank you for badge 8, Deathless Grusha. On to badge 7. In Alfornada, I got this chicken. How neat. This chicken learned Shadow Ball too, which was epic. The gym was psychic, so hopefully this would help out a little bit. The gym puzzle was Simon Says, which was fine. And the gym leader was Tulip. She was very cool and good at makeup, and also an entrepreneur, and also going to beat me up. She opened with a big giraffe, which was tough considering my ghost move here was going to do nothing. I bet Meowscarada makes this gym free, huh? I swapped to our olive branch, allowing us to eat a little health with both Leech Seed and the grassy terrain that we just set. The Gardevoir that came in next was a little nerve-wracking, but a Titan pivot and chip into an Espathra Shadow Ball proved just enough. And then it happened. A mirror image. Chicken versus chicken. Who would win? Didn't even know what I looked like. I'm not scared of me. I know I'm -1 Spadef, but I'm not scared of me. No! No, 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 no. Wugtrio finished and just needed to go to work on this final Florges. This might be regrettable, but I'm going to take a gamble here. I think we should survive 1. Come on. I just need Wugtrio to survive 1. You got this, Karena. 1, 2. Good crit. All right, what do you use? Moonblast. We should eat 1. We should eat 1. Okay, let's think this through, guys. Triple Dive finished the job, and it was official. 8 badges in, we were headed to the league. It was time to double back and finish some unfinished stuff, like Titans and Star Bases. Iron Treads, the Steel Dawn fan, was first on the clock back in the Asado Desert, and I may have made a small mistake failing to acknowledge the ground move that this Pokemon had. I'm gonna try Brick Break. Yep, because I am faster. It has stuff. You can see in my eyes how I'm mauling. Truly, it was a confusion of information, which I mixed up with Iron Treads and its Scarlet counterpart. Don't ask me how Stomping Tantrum got lost in the sauce. I have no idea. Still, our Olive Branch was able to save the day and the rest of the team by finishing off the beast. We were now down one of our first 3 friends. Arvin's dog barked or something, and now we can glide. Life is crazy. On to the final boss in Castle Royale Lake. I wanted everything that this Dondozo had to give me. Olive Branch whacked the first round of the beast and similarly trucked it in the second round with grassy terrain pulse. This is the only Titan with a sidekick, but the little fish couldn't handle our Tinkaton's play rough. With the final Titan in the bag, Arvin's dog was finally healed. It was a really, really sweet and touching moment, maybe the most emotional in the history of the games. More importantly though, I can climb rocks. Back in Chancyland, I grinded the squad up a whole bunch to take on Mr. Crocker and his fairy collection. Run by Ortiga, I was determined to shut the place down. I used Tinkaton to mop the floor here. Azu, Wiggly, and Dox failed to hit Tinka even once, and the final Revavroom driving the party bus was all that remained. Sure, it survived a single Giga Chad Dynahammer with flying colors, but we were able to set up a Reflect and switch out to Skeledurs, who walked all over this final Mon. GG's, Ortiga. Only one area remained, and I was coming for it. In this North Province, I was able to snag a Bisharp that we immediately evolved into a King Gambit. Now, I want you guys to know that I did not expect the fighting base to be this strong. Entering the boss fight at the end, I was super caught off guard when they over-leveled me. And I was absolutely petrified about this final Revavroom's potential. We beat Toxicroak and encountered an Annihilate with a Play Rough from Doxbun. With Passimian in, I terrestrialized Croc in probably what was our biggest mistake and killed with Torch Song. I then asked Clodsire to finish Lucario, which it did. The final Revavroom was finally up, and I didn't know what to do. With nearly all physical attackers, the stamina that boosted its defense was slowly killing me. Add in the gear shifts to boost its speed and attack, and the fighting ground and steel moves, I was in trouble. Did you guys know that you keep your terrestrialization if you switch out? Oh my god, I thought I had ghost typing still. I lose Skeledurs. Bummer. That's one of my best Pokemon. The terrestrialization there punishes me. That's crazy. Follow up here. Did you know that Fake Out doesn't work on the cars? That's fine. I just need a little health back. Oh my gosh. Fake out doesn't work? What? Why didn't fake out work there? Well, at least Stockspin is faster and can nerf it with Growl, right? I'm so confused. I don't understand. Olive Garden, please help. Can someone explain to me why that didn't work? Okay, we're through. What? I'm so confused. Yeah, so I don't know if y'all know this, but we lost 3 trash Pokemon. Honestly, it's a good thing we lost Skeledurge and Tinkaton, 2 of the worst Pokemon in the game. And a fairy type with a fire immunity? Kinda dumb. Not gonna lie. With the league on my mind and some losses haunting me, I made a decision. I was going to scour the world for any encounters I'd missed up to this point. Welcome to the team, Tatsujiri, Flamigo, Dunsparce, Veluza, Gimmighoul, and Charcadet. Yes, I spent the time to level up everyone and make sure we had the perfect team. So what did I go in with? Maybe hilariously, I think I chose nearly all new Pokemon for this Elite Four. The oldest Pokemon on my team was Satitan, who, while a beast, had only been with us since Gym 5. After that, we had King Gambit, who we'd met just before the North Province Massacre, and Palafin, Cerulege, Goldengo, and Toedscruel, a collection of monsters we picked up literally within the last couple of hours. Was this enough to beat the league? I had to try. Rico opened with Whiscash, and I opened with Palafin. Flip turning into Toedscruel, I tried to use Spore. Oh my god. I forgot, given Toedscruel's negative priority ability, that Spore went second. It was basically a non-problem. Palafin came in next looking like a demigod and ate Camerup's attacks for breakfast. Jet Punch would finish the next 3 Pokemon in a flurry of hits until the final Clodsire stepped in. Doing a little bit of damage with Satitan, I sent in Toedscruel to finish, which it absolutely did. The next opponent was Poppy, a small woman with incredible might. Cerulege, after one Swords Dance, defeated all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the opponent's Pokemon. It was light work and a little embarrassing for our friend Poppy here. Even worse, however, was the fact that Larry the Lobster was back. I think he missed me and wanted to hang out again. Now, I'll save you the details, but Cerulege ran through the first 4 Pokemon on Larry's team. All that remained was the ace. Oh, take it easy on me, please. Oh! Oh! Never ever doubted! I believed the whole time! Oh! While Cerulege's work was impressive, I tried a slightly modified strat against Hassel. Goldengo beat Noivern, and King Gambit two-shot the opposing Haxorus with Kowtow Cleave. Dragalge was a little awkward, though Spore from Toedscruel allowed Cerulege to get in for free. Chasing a little greed here, I fired off a Swords Dance and bet on killing with Psycho Cut, which we did. Flapple fell to a singular Bitter Blade, and a final swing of the Terrestrialized Sword into a little Shadow Sneak buried Hassel's ace, Baxcalibur. The Elite Four was completed, only one player remained, and I was gonna stick it to the champion. Do y'all think I can sweep this whole fight with Cerulege? Espathra, Avalugg, King Gambit, Veluza, Go-Go. God, this is ridiculous. I was so stoked actually because the final Glimmora actually forced me to switch out. With a special attacker in front of me, I sent in Toedscruel to finish. Okay, here we go. Beautiful. What a beautiful moment for me. That's fine. You're a weenie, Gita, saying that to me. After sleeping the opposing Glimmora, Toedscruel's boosted Giga Drains did so much damage. The first one did a lot, and the second one closed the deal. We were officially Pokemon champions. Now, this game is a weird one because I didn't feel like the story was finished. And sure, we finished Nuzlocke at the Elite Four usually, but what if the game's not over? There's story to tell. I mean, there's a whole area of world to explore, and what about this Nemona challenge? I guess we had to continue until the story ends, right? I mean, one thing I skipped over after fighting the final Titan was the meeting back at Arvin's place. I didn't want to complete this fight until after the league, so it's probably best we cover it now. There's a really interesting dialogue where Arvin's dad is revealed to be the Pokemon professor, Turo, and we're requested to travel to the Great Crater of Paldea. Here we find out that Professor Turo is kind of a jerk, and Arvin feels completely detached from his father, who spent Arvin's childhood studying in Area Zero, and we now had to pay him a visit. Of course, Arvin didn't want to go in just the two of us, and even challenged us to a battle to get a feel for how strong we both were. With his dog back at full health and our newfound championship, we squared off. There wasn't a Pokemon on his squad that really threatened me. It was an easy fight. Seeing Mabostiff in action was cool, but low kick from Kingambit was just too powerful. I just needed to find more companions for the journey. In Mesagoza, we had to square off against Nemona one final time, and the fight was pretty tough. Goldengo beat Lycanroc, Severledge beat Orthworm, and Satitan may have struggled a little against Gudra. With Palmot out against us, I pivoted back to Severledge to deal with the mouse.
I'm expecting an electric move here. I want to make sure we're faster. I think it's too dangerous to not attack here. What's double shock? I don't know what this does. Ow.
Fortunately, Double Shock was no good for a second turn, and Bitter Blade was enough to conquer our foe. Superhero Palafin came in next to Bappa de Dunsparce with Drain Punch, and the final Meowscarada came in. I may have made a small mistake guessing the cat wasn't going to be faster than my Dolphin.
Yeah, I think Palafin's very fast. You're pretty fast still. I can probably still get off a flip turn. I don't think Meowscarada is the fastest thing in the world. See if I lose something here. Oh, it is faster than me. Okay, this is sick. I might lose my Dolphin here. But now I found out who's faster. Now I know, guys. Oh, it crit. For good measure.
It's okay. This is post-game. Was the pivot to Kingambit free there? Don't talk about it. Our Kingambit finished the fight and we moved on. Nemona had to be on our squad for the pit. Follow up. If autocorrect on Google Docs changes Nemona to pneumonia one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. There was a bunch of story stuff, including the big reveal that the trendy and always fashionable Clive was actually Clavel in disguise the entire time. Why he wanted to fight me, I'm not sure. And why he claims to be Cassiopeia is a whole thing. Anyways, easy fight here, right?
Oh, is this the psychic normal type or just the psychic type?
With Houndoom on the floor, I pivoted to Tatsujiri. Houndoom flinched our only opportunity to deal real damage. With this much HP left on the Doom, I had to make a call.
Okay, life just got really hard. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to sacrifice something. It's probably gonna end up being this guy. Tatsu, played your role, buddy. Well done.
Houndoom nearly knocked out Toedscruel with a Fire Blast the next turn, though Spore into 2 Earth Powers finished the job as Aboma Snow walked out. I saw this as my opportunity to get Severledge back in this fight, and I took it. Bitter Blade ate Aboma's HP and cleared through the ensuing Poltegeist as well. After Bitter Blade slashed the Amoonguss, the boss Quaquavel was now in. Asleep from Effect Spore on the Amoonguss, any Severledge help was now off the table. Into Satitan, I just needed a lucky break.
What a bounce. Nice. Oh, wait, we're going to be able to maybe get out of this just fine. It misses. Para? Yes. Okay. I think I have a chance.
With the paralysis, my new plan was to recover stall and enjoy the occasional full paralysis. I got one immediately and just needed to survive one more hit.
Okay, here we go. Just get the kill. Okay, just survive this, survive this, survive this. Noodle Man. It's in Torrent.
My back was against the wall and my run was on the line. I didn't believe Kingambit had a shot to survive Brick Break. I needed a full paralysis.
No shot I survive a Brick Break right now.
Oh my gosh!
Bro, you're crazy for that.
You're crazy for that one. That was crazy. Now, a whole bunch of story stuff happened, but here's what you need to know. Penny was the actual evil dictator Cassiopeia, which confuses me because Clive lied about it for what? Penny did challenge us to a battle, but Kingambit beat the first Umbreon handily and set up max attack with Swords Dance. Knowing Flareon wasn't the fastest of evolutions, I didn't hesitate to fire off a max attack Kowtow when it rolled out.
Oh, this is so regrettable, but I'm going to do it. It was faster. We might survive, but
Damn it! Okay, so that sucked. But Ceruledge, who was probably a free switch here with Flash Fire that I absolutely threw, was able to get to max attack as well as Flareon spammed Baby Doll Eyes and we spammed Swords Dance. Shadow Sneak would defeat Flareon, Psycho Cut would ruin Vaporeon, Sneak on Jolteon, Bitter Blade on Leafeon, and the final Sylveon disintegrated with our Fiery Sword. Not the hardest battle, but a misplay did cost us a great friend that had just saved the run moments prior. Rest in peace, King Gambit. So this story concluded. Penny and the bad Team Star guys were assigned to make their bad pillars into training facilities by President Clive, and we can go back there whenever we want. Also, I think Penny's coming with Arven and company? At the entrance to Area Zero, the 4-member squad met. Penny, Nimona, Arven, and me. Turo said something over the speakers and we had to be on our way. Hey guys, in this cutscene, everyone is laughing as I barely hang on for dear life. I'm literally one sweaty hand away from plummeting, and it's just so casual. Welcome to the crater. This pit is so bright, eerie, and full of life. All the science buildings appear overgrown as if no one works there anymore, but it's unclear exactly why. We journeyed down through 4 layers of bases, eventually hearing a dysfunctional Turo over the intercom. With things even spookier, we took on a variety of Paradox Pokemon en route to the main base. Now, the absolute most eerie part of any Pokemon game ever is here. Inside the main base, in the heart of Area Zero, we find a Call of Duty Zombies map that looks like Ascension the sequel, and a zombified Turo slumped over in a chair. In super terrifying fashion, the dead professor sits up and admits to being a robot and verbally kills off the original professor, which is a hilariously dark turn within a Pokemon game. Regardless, our task was now to turn off the time machine that had brought future Pokemon into this version of Paldea. In order to do it, we had to beat the professor in a battle to attempt to save the world. The battle was kinda a snooze. Turo opened with a bug that our Ceruledge had no problem Swords Dancing and Bitter Blading, and finishing with a Shadow Sneak. And Iron Thorns? Awful. Iron Thorns missed Stone Edge as I switched to Toad School and stood no chance as Earth Powered buried him. Here, I terrestrialized Toad to survive a Delibird Freeze Dry and knocked the bird out with Giga Drain. With Jugulus out, I needed Titan to eat a Flash Cannon, which was easy. Ice Shard finished the monster and Iron Hands walked out. I sacrificed our friend and sent in Houndstone, who hit 2 player-ups before succumbing to a crit Thunder Punch. We were still in great position as Giga Drain burned the penultimate foe. The last Mon, Iron Valiant, stood no chance. With 4 Pokemon near full health, it wasn't surprising when a Toedscruel sacrifice into a Ceruledge Bitterblade finished the fight. The battle was won and the game was over.